I think that we can all agree that 2026 is going to be special with loads of interesting announcements and big projects. Aside from the much-awaited Spider-Man Brand New Day and Avengers Doomsday, we have some big shows coming up as well, including the season finale of The Boys. However, I have to tell you that one project is not getting the attention it deserves, probably because the fans are yet to find out how big this is going to be. Yes, I am talking about the sleeper hit The Masters of the Universe movie that is reportedly scheduled for June 5th after 19 years. 19 years of development hell. Multiple studios, countless failed attempts. Warner Brothers couldn't figure it out. Sony couldn't figure it out. Netflix spent $30 million and still couldn't figure it out. They all walked away. All of them. But then, Amazon MGM Studios stepped in. And what they're building? According to Test Screening Insiders, it's going to be the biggest surprise hit of summer 2026. In this video, you will find everything you need to know about this project and more. How about I start you off with a little history lesson that will make you realize why this is such a big project in the first place. The journey had started a long time ago in 2007 when Warner Brothers looked at He-Man and saw a viable property. The plan was to create an epic film, and they hired the perfectly suited man for the job, John Woo, the legendary action director. This was the guy who perfected slow-motion gunplay, and it almost seemed like the perfect launch of a mega project, except that it wasn't. Warner Brothers could not get the financing right, and they could not nail down the creative vision, and it was a slow death for the project. Now, you need to fast forward to 2009, and this time it was Sony who acquired the rights. However, it still remained in the doldrums because they never really got on with it. An entire decade went by, and Sony spent the entire time in development. Now, that's when you know things are not on the right track. Directors and scripts come and go, MCG comes aboard and MCG leaves, but the movie never gets made. Then the legendary David Goyer takes over and more scripts are explored. And the Nee brothers get hired, but nothing really sticks. By now, it was 2021 and Sony finally gave up on the project. Then 2022 brings about some promising news for fans as Netflix enters the arena. The streaming giant wanted a He-Man movie, and I was optimistic that they would make it happen. Netflix even cast Kyle Allen as Prince Adam and invested millions in development. But then the curse returns. The project gets canceled yet again, and the end result was a movie that failed to become a reality because studios kept playing pass the ball, and the fans kept hoping against hope. I never really had much of a hope after this, but then Amazon MGM Studios entered the fray. What I really found promising about their attempt was how they never tried to repeat what Warner Brothers, Sony, or Netflix had attempted, and they were definitely not looking for another superhero origin story to play it safe. Instead, they brought in Travis Knight. This is the guy who directed Bumblebee, and I don't think anybody has made me care about giant robots like he did. The best thing about Travis is that he understands how to honor the source material and also bring something fresh to the table. And isn't that exactly what a die-hard He-Man fan would want for the movie? Even Mattel's chief franchise officer, Josh Silverman, echoed the sentiments when he said, "Travis is creating an epic world-building fantasy that honors Eternia's lore and iconography, while introducing fresh characters, visual textures, and thematic layers that speak to today's audiences." The idea is not to replicate, and nobody is seeking to copy the 1987 Frank Langella film. And if the execution is right, I am sure the fans would love a bit of innovation. Also, I must take a moment to appreciate Mattel for bringing in a dream team. They have Chris Butler, who has rewritten the script, and Fabian Wagner, the cinematographer who created some of the most visually stunning work in television, is filming it. Guy Hendricks Dias is in charge of production design, and Richard Sale is on board for costumes. And for industry insiders, these are all big names that can make the fans rest easy that justice will be done to their favorite characters. Okay, so enough with the big team gathered for the perfect vision. Let us quickly check out the numbers game because numbers don't lie. This is a big budget project, and I mean a really big budget, grand scale blockbuster. With a $200 million scope, I would go so far ahead as to say that I will be expecting an Avatar-level spectacle. Surely Amazon MGM is willing to spend big for this one because they believe in the project. Filming took place for 6 months from January 6th to June 15th, 2025, and it all happened in London. Now, the release date is supposed to be June 5th, 2026, and if the post-production schedule stays on track, then the movie will not be delayed any further. However, I have also realized that the release date of Masters of the Universe is caught up between two other major projects: The Mandalorian and Grogu that releases on May 22nd, and Toy Story 5 that releases on June 19th. Maybe the makers wouldn't want to miss out on the June 5th window. I am slightly disappointed about the fact that the movie wouldn't get an IMAX release because of the tight release window, but the $200 million visual effects would have been terrific to watch in IMAX. At least, courtesy of the HDR technology, I will still enjoy the whole Eternia color palette in all its vibrant glory. I have told you enough about the backdrops, so I think it is now time for the real deal, the story that we are anticipating so hard. The story opens with a 10-year-old Adam, and he is just a kid and yet to be a king. He crashes on Earth on a spaceship, and during the process he is separated from his power sword that connects him to Eternia. He then grows up on Earth and lives a normal human life with no idea about his real identity. Then, after almost 2 decades, when he is an adult, he tracks down the power sword, and when he finds it, he is transported back to his home planet of Eternia. Here, Skeletor and his forces have taken over in his absence, and Prince Adam has to uncover the mysteries of his past in order to understand who he really is. I love how he doesn't have it easy here, and this is what makes the film more than just an action flick. We will witness the rise and redemption of a great warrior and protector, and what better way than a big-budget grandeur to celebrate the legacy of He-Man with a fresh twist. I am also excited about the casting choices because something tells me that the actors are perfectly suited for the roles. Let me first start with Nicholas Galitzine as Prince Adam and He-Man. He needs no introduction for those who have watched him in The Outsider, and his screen presence makes him the perfect choice for the role. He has gone through intense training and gym sessions to get in shape, and he actually transformed his body to He-Man level. That too while filming for another movie called 100 Nights of Hero. Camila Mendes has been chosen for the role of Teela, and she is no stranger to action. And reports have revealed that she trained for 2 months in London to perfect the stunts and combat choreography. Idris Elba is another big name, and he plays the role of Man-at-Arms Duncan. And I think he adds the much-needed star power to the movie. Of course, the most intriguing part of the cast is Jared Leto as Skeletor. And while some fans are skeptical about him pulling it off, I am confident that he can bring in the quirkiness of the role. Other actors include the likes of Charlotte Riley as Adam's mother, Alison Brie as Evil Lynn, and Sam C. Wilson as Trapjaw. Overall, I have a good feeling about this one because someone wise in the cinema industry once said that the right casting is half the job done. But what will the film look like visually, and what will be the strategy to start off a potential franchise that deserves a special place in modern-day cinema? One of the most important decisions in bringing Masters of the Universe to screen isn't how much money you spend or which actors you cast, but the design philosophy. The fundamental question here is, are you trying to recreate the toy line, the cartoon, the 1987 film, or are you trying to create something that resonates with all of those things? According to Josh Silverman, Mattel's chief franchise officer, Travis has brought together a best-in-class team across cast, costume, set design, and props, who all understand that nostalgia isn't about replication, it's about resonance. I cannot tell you how comforting this is to hear, even though the real results will be seen when the movie is released. The first images released of Nicholas Galitzine as He-Man on Battle-Cat shows design inspirations from the 2002 animated 200X series. That's significant because the 200X series did a remarkable job of modernizing the property while keeping the essence of what makes He-Man iconic. And Masters of the Universe is clearly drawing from that visual language. Battle-Cat itself is designed, created, and brought to life in such a way that you can believe exists in this world. The production design department understood that Eternia needs to feel like a place, a real place. Now, let me quickly jump to the strategy part, because what is a modern-day cinema without the right amount of promotion and buzz around the internet for the right reasons? The product might be the best in business, but I am sure it wouldn't stand a chance without the right marketing. As of today, we're approximately 5.5 months away from the June 5th release date, and we still haven't seen an official trailer. Now, this might sound insane given how long we've been waiting, but there's actually a reason for this unconventional marketing approach. Grace Randolph and other industry insiders predicted that the official trailer would be released around early December. That prediction didn't pan out, but the consensus among these insiders is that it's coming soon, early 2026 at the latest. But why the delay and what's the strategy? Compare this to Barbie. Barbie's teaser dropped 3 years before the film's release. Mattel and Warner Brothers understood that Barbie had such cultural resonance that they could start the conversation years in advance. Masters of the Universe is different. This is a property that's been in development hell for 19 years. Fans have been burned before. Fans have lost hope. So Mattel's strategy is different. Drop the trailer when you're close enough to release that people can't forget about it. Generate immediate hype. Build momentum in the final stretch. Release the film while the conversation is at maximum intensity. I personally think that all this is a genius marketing strategy. And there's logic to this. If the trailer drops in January 2026, you've got 5 months of continuous coverage, 5 months of clips being analyzed, 5 months of interviews, 5 months of building anticipation. By June, the entire internet is going to be ready for this film. The trailer itself, based on leaked early footage descriptions, opens with Prince Adam on Earth discussing Cringer, the green tiger. It shows Adam transported to Eternia. It demonstrates Adam discovering his lineage and his destiny. There are multiple Eternian characters revealed, multiple glimpses of Evil Lyn and Skeletor, and the climax, He-Man's transformation scene with the iconic "I have the power" moment. That's a trailer that understands its audience. It hits all the beats. It answers the fundamental questions. And if the trailer is done right, I think the big-budget He-Man return is all set to break records as one of the biggest hits of the year. I know you are probably thinking that all this excitement is a bit premature, but I haven't told you about the test screenings yet. In November 2025, the test screenings were held and the first reactions were crazy. Everyone was thrilled with the end product, and John Campea, host of The John Campea Show, even went on to say that it is Travis Knight's best film yet. Many others echoed his sentiments, and I can tell that so many people rooting for a film can only be a great sign. For me, the most appreciable part was how the limited audience confirmed that the movie has a lot of heart, which is not something a superhero action film always gets. Also, all the critics who frowned at Jared Leto cast for the role of Skeletor can rest easy because reports suggest that he has nailed it. Everyone unanimously said that he was great as Skeletor, and the director has reportedly dropped loads of Easter eggs to make it fun for the longtime fans like me. Lastly, I would like to end this on an optimistic note because, keeping everything aside, this is a project that has been brewing for far too long, and it is about time the fans got their due. At least we have a movie coming up, and if whatever we are hearing about this is true, I can confidently say that the movie will be a giant release for 2026, possibly spawning a franchise that can build on the He-Man lore like never before. If that doesn't get the hardcore He-Man fans excited, I don't know what will. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this mega upcoming release, and also share your thoughts on the developments so far, including the cast, plot, and strategies adapted by the makers.